Hello. You know what? You're a jerk. Yeah, you. Looking at me, you are a jerk. Do you like me less now? Great! 1 point for me. Scratch it off. In Prodigals Club, it's about getting the most disfavorable votes. Yeah, you want people to hate you. You want to be dispelled from society. You want to be broke, and you just want to be horrible. And it's good. What? Hello. Yeah, of course, I didn't mean what I said. I love you. Yeah, I like that you're watching my videos, so thank you for sticking around. As I said, in this game, it's about becoming the most unpopular person, depending on what modules you have. So you see, the game takes a lot of space on the table, and this is only for 3 players. It goes up to 5. So each player has this amount of space that is required per player. And of course, I'm playing with 3 modules now, out of 3 possible. So the more modules you have, the more space it will take. But if you only go with a few modules, well, it will take less space, of course. And also, you can take away one of these modules and instead of it, use Last Will. Yeah, another game as one of these competitions or modules. So you can bring in a whole new game as another module. That's strange. I have not tried that yet. I'm not sure I want to either, because it becomes 2 games in one. But let's take a look over these modules and see what it's all about. And remember, it's about becoming the most unpopular and poorest person. In turn order, you place your hats, which are action selection hats, and you place them on available fields. These modules here represent 3 competitions. You can play with 2 or 3 at the same time, and now it's all 3. In this module here, you have an election module, and you want to do it as poor as possible in the election. Here you have possessions. You have possessions of various things, and you want to have the least valuables left in the game at the end of the game. And here you have the society, how well other people perceive you and like you. Depending on the number of players and modules, you get a number of hats. And these hats can be used to do different things. And of course, the hats are limited. And by placing 1 hat at a time, you have to acknowledge that other players will do stuff that you want. But hey, that's how it is in a worker placement game, which this totally is. All the competitions are similar. They have all cards that you can get, plus some additional stuff depending on the competition. All the cards have icons that are kind of general across all the competitions, but there are also cards that are indigenous to this competition. Like this one, for instance, thumbs down. You won't find that anywhere else. And if I place here, I can choose from these piles here, depending on 2 other players. If there's more players, we'll flip it over and you have different actions. So I can, for instance, take this pile of cards here, or maybe these 2 on this token, depending on what I want. So I take these 3 here, put them on my hand, and woohoo, save them for later. And this is a society competition, and it's similar. You have similar spaces here, you can go and pick up cards. But you also have these strange icons here, which you have to move some tokens down a track, a token of women and men. And this is kind of the ranking you have among them, I don't know. It's kind of strange. But you also have good old Granny here, and she is not good. Well, you're not a bad person, you're a good person. Oh, this one time you helped me with the groceries, and yeah, she's going to brag about you and make your way to the bottom of the ladder much harder. So you have to keep a track on her as well and what she's going to do. But it's still the same, pick up cards or do the icons. Last competition is the possessions. And here you have possessions you can trade with. So let's say you want to trade your expensive caravan with a cheap ruin, maybe. This sounds like a good deal, right? Yeah, sure it does. Let's do that. After all players have placed out their workers, it's a time to play cards. It's time to play cards. And you have 2 kinds of cards. You have the brown ones and the white ones. So the brown ones, they go down here on your tableau, and they are permanent. So I can spend or tap them each turn or each round, and they will give me a bonus. The white cards, they are one-offs. So if I play it, it's gone. Play it, gone. Play it, gone. But they usually give a greater bonus than these ones. Though these will be refreshed for the next round and help me more. And yes, there is a limit to the brown cards. But if I'm through with it, I just throw it away and replace it with a new one. So the game is very forgiving in that way, and I like how this works. And if you have cards you don't want to play, you can, I think it's 5 cards you can keep in your hand until the next round. So you have options there as well. The game looks gorgeous, and it has all these tiny cool components that just looks shiny. That's it. So the game goes from 2 to 5 players. I haven't tried it with 2 yet, but 5 and 3 and 4, that is great. I like it with 5 and 3 just as well, because the game doesn't really take much longer with more players. Much of the time is just, well, placing workers, and the more players you have, the less workers you have available. And when it comes to playing your cards, you can only play what is available to you anyway, and that is the cards you have picked up this round. So we have a maximum of 5 cards you can take from the previous round. So your choices are limited to what you have in your hand, and that is kind of few. But I do love all these competitions here. I like it with more competitions actually, though it takes a bit more time, of course. But the more competitions you have, the more options you have, but also the more stuff you need to consider. Because this looks like a very thematic game. Well, the theme does come through, but in the end it's just a Euro game. You have this chart here with tokens you need to move down. I really don't get this chart. But you have the possessions, which are automatic, and you have the votes, which are just numbers as well as scoring tracks. So yeah, the game works, it really does. And with 5 players, just as well as 3 players. And well, you might have guessed it by now, I do enjoy this game. I do. But at first I thought it was kind of daunting, because you have so many components and so much stuff to think about. And yeah, you kind of do. You have this competition and this competition and this competition, and how do you manage all these tokens and cards? Yeah, in the beginning, play with only 2. Maybe the recommended ones, and leave the possessions out of it for now, because just get into the game and learn how it's played. That's the most important thing. And even this track here. But the game plays very well, it does. And yeah, you have a lot to think about, but the game, all the competitions are kind of identical. You do the actions here and you try to get the least point as possible. The game winner is the one who has the least points in the one he has most in. So for instance, I have 12 points here and 5 points here and 0 points in this last module. My game score is this one. 12 I said? Yeah, 12 points. So this is the one I had most in. So you can't focus on one competition and just go down on that one. No, you have to focus on all competitions and be horrible at all of them. And that's very interesting. You just have to go all over the place. And also the other players will go here, and when they're done with this area, it's open for you to go there. So you're never blocked in any way by other players' actions, but of course they do get in the way. They do. So there are many ways to approach all of these competitions, and there are many ways to strategize or lay up a plan. And this game is a sequel kind of to Last Will, and I have to say I like this one a lot more than Last Will. I enjoy Last Will as well, but that game takes a bit longer than appreciated. It's kind of overstays its welcome, instead of saying. And this game kind of doesn't do that. It's just great, and yeah, it's very interesting. It is, and I do recommend it a lot. So yeah, that's it for now. Okay, thank you for watching, and if you like my videos, please leave a comment and tell me what you think. And if you want to support me financially, check out my Patreon account, and there, if you do a high enough funding, you get to decide which game I will review next. And yeah, I hope that's kind of a small carrot for the donkey or something. Okay, thanks for watching, and yeah, keep gaming. See ya.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.